The Liberal government and Justin Trudeau had us so distracted last week about him deciding to resign. Now you have two bills that are about to go forth in this country that can destroy churches permanently. We're going to talk about this right now on Breaking Mediocrity. Welcome to Breaking Mediocrity. I'm your host, D.A. Bourne. Like, share, and subscribe, trying to get to 1,000 subscribers and beyond. So whatever you can do will be greatly appreciated. All right, I want to talk about something here that is going to affect churches in Canada in a major way. All right, so we talked so much about Trudeau's resignation last week. And obviously it was a talk for weeks upon the actual announcement. And you know what? The Liberal government, they did this, but in the meantime, they were in the background trying to pass something that would be ignored by the Canadian public because we're so focused on the resignation. And this is what governments can do. They could have you on such breaking news, and then we're so focused on the breaking news, they could go ahead and pass some bills and pass some stuff, and we won't even know they exist. What am I talking about, DA? Well, let's get right to it, all right? So, going back to November of 2024, there are two bills that have been proposed that now they want to bring into effect, all right? So, of all the bills they wanted to pass, I'm going to talk about two bills that affects churches. All right. This one is from the National Post, and I'm going to put the link in the description so you can check it out later. Recommendation 429, no longer provide charitable status to anti-abortion organizations. What about that? No longer providing charitable status to anti-abortion organizations. Who are they targeting? They're targeting the church because the church is pro-life. The church is about not killing babies before birth. And this is the Liberal Party's agenda, right? Because they have heavily pushed abortion. Trudeau's pushed abortion for so long and has donated millions and millions towards abortion. Now at the point where our national debt is at $1.2 trillion, which is ridiculous for a country of only 40 million people. All right. So they're figuring out how the ways we can cut back and save some money and get back this money. Well, how about we stop giving money to churches? How about we stop making them a charitable status? How about we get the church on their knees and surrender to what we want them to do? How are we going to do this? By proposal, recommendation 429, no longer provide charitable status to anti-abortion organizations. Churches have always been charitable organizations, right? You can go to church, you can donate to a church, they give to charities, they're able to do the things that they need to do in the community based on our charitable giving. In the church, they call it tithes and offerings. In temples, Sikh buildings, it's considered an offering, charitable donations. And yes, we do have strong beliefs based on biblical teachings and whatever teachings other acts of faith do. This can damage the church because they're pretty much saying, if you don't agree with abortion, we ain't giving you nothing. Now, how that greatly affects the church, because if the church is not considered a charitable organization, then they're not going to be able to get sponsorship and support from the community. And it's going to affect the way churches be able to give to others. It's going to affect the way will people want to give to the church if they're not a charitable organization? Because you have some that are going to give to the church regardless. But then you have some that they only give because they want a tax credit. You know what I mean? So this affects churches a lot. I mean, 2 years ago, the liberal government stopped giving summer grants to churches who were anti-abortion. So if you weren't a supporter of abortion, they weren't giving summer grants to you. Did you know about that? See, this is what they're trying to pass. But you're saying, DA, they suspended Parliament. Yeah, they suspended Parliament, but that doesn't mean that they still want to pass out whatever they want to pass out. So they are putting this into effect as soon as possible. And it's going to affect our churches. Your liberal government. All right. Another recommendation. Recommendation 430. Amend the Income Tax Act to provide a definition of charity, which would remove the privileged status of advancement of religion as a charitable purpose. Advancement of religion as a charitable purpose. So, in other words, if you are an organization, whether it's a church, whether it is something of charity, whether it is a Sikh temple, whether it is any act of faith organization, if you are focused on religion, if religion is a prime purpose, you have this organization, then you're no longer considered a charitable organization. If you don't realize, 40% of charitable organizations in Canada are advanced by religion. They are religion focused. All right. Whether you're a Christian or not, you guys, everybody knows of the Salvation Army. Salvation Army is a charitable organization with advancement of religion. National Post says the second recommendation would be absolutely catastrophic in its impact. Almost 40% of Canada's registered charities advance religion. The Finance Committee proposes to deny 2 out of every 5 charities on their tax status. This would include the Salvation Army, which some of these committee MPs no doubt praise on their way in and out of supermarkets this season. Obviously, this was written in November. We all like these organizations and what they do for the community. You take away their charitable rights, you are taking away these organizations. They are not going to be able to do what they effectively do. And needless to say, this is the Liberals' idea of trying to bring a socialist, communist agenda to Canada. They want to control what takes place. They want to control what people, who people worship. They want to put everybody under one system of what they believe. And we got to stop this. We need churches in Canada. Canada's already falling apart because of the weak faith that many Christians in Canada tend to have. They've gotten comfortable, and we've allowed the Liberal government to just take over and put an anti-Christian agenda. Now, you probably watching this, you're like, I'm not a Christian. Why do I care about this? Because, to be honest, we need charitable organizations. We need charitable organizations because who's going to go out there and help others, pray for others, support others? And it affects every church. So if you're watching this and you go to church, you have a pastor, let them know about this video. Share this video to your pastors, to your organizations, to your workers of faith. This is urgent. This is urgent. And this is why we need a spring election as soon as possible. What encourages me is that as soon as Parliament is back in session and they got their interim leader, we got the Conservatives and the NDP. They are saying, let's go. We are going to have an election as soon as possible. We need the spring election because the longer we prolong an election, the more the Liberal government is going to go forth with these things and affect churches and just take this country down. You guys all celebrated Trudeau's announcement of his intention to resign, but we still got the same party that's in government, the same party that initiated and supported everything that Justin Trudeau allowed within the last 9 years. And they only pushing this resignation out because they want more seats in the government when it comes to the election. They're still the same evil left-wing government, and they plan on doing more stuff that's going to corrupt this country. So I want to know your thoughts about this. Do you think these proposed bills are going to devastate our country? Do you think that churches are going to be demolished, destroyed, less effective if these bills go forth? I want to know your thoughts. Like, share, and subscribe to Make Breaking Mediocrity. I greatly appreciate y'all. I'm going to leave the link so you can read this stuff on your own. And until then, God bless. I am out. Peace.